I used to be one of those guys that carried around quite a bit of gear with them wherever they went, in the form of a mirrorless camera, tripod, and what have you. But I just really wanted to reduce everything down to the most minimal loadout possible. So this is what I'm carrying around these days. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the iPhone, since everyone knows what one of these are, and this is my primary camera system. Although this is my iPhone 14 instead of my 16, which is what I'm shooting with right now. I think everyone in my audience already understands that shooting with a phone is a series of compromises. Chiefly, you have a smaller image sensor. It captures less light, therefore reduces the picture quality, especially in low light situations. We're starting to get to one right now as the sun sets. A dedicated camera system doesn't have quite the portability, and you're always carrying a phone, or at least in my case. One thing that makes the iPhone really attractive for videography is this right here, ProRes. Hit that little magic button, and suddenly you're shooting in a much higher bitrate codec. This means it's capturing a lot more information, so when you go to edit, you're not losing as much picture quality when you go to export the video and transcode it. That's pretty much it. I just have a high storage capacity one, even though you can't shoot direct log video to one of these above 30 frames per second. This quirk of the iPhone brings me to why I'm making this video. Shooting ProRes directly to the iPhone takes a lot of storage. For example, on my 512GB iPhone 14 Pro, I have 400 gigabytes free, yet I can only shoot 25 minutes of ProRes. To make this more cumbersome and convoluted, you can't shoot 4K 60 or 4K 120 directly to the iPhone's internal storage, regardless if your phone supports it or not. I mean, it can, but just not in ProRes. However, you can shoot these formats directly to an SSD, and of course they can hold a lot more video. I tried to use a Samsung T7 with a magnetic case, but it was really clumsy. Also, I can't find my case anymore. But fortunately, there are a lot of companies making iPhone-specific SSDs now, and I will be looking at two of these today in this video. One of the big things I've been trying to accomplish is just the most minimal loadout possible. So I just have my DJI bag, and then inside it, I have the DJI microphones. These are pretty spiffy. We'll talk about those in a minute. SSD from Orico. This is the 512 gigabyte version. Inside the bag, even further, appropriate cabling for various drives, and my newest addition, this tiny Zike. It's 1 terabyte. And the big advantage is because this uses USB-C, I can just plug in multiple devices at once. In the interest of being fully transparent, both Zike and Orico sent me these SSDs to evaluate. All right, you'll have to bear with me on the microphone because I had to switch off my AirPods, which is also part of my loadout. I usually carry AirPods as they work as wireless microphones. But here I am now using my old iPhone 14 to film this instead of my 16 Pro, which I don't have connected to the AirPods. So if I just do this, give it a second to load up, but now I can connect multiple devices into one USB-C port. It's not the most compact, but this is definitely a lot less than if I were carrying around a DSLR, or I should say a mirrorless camera. As you have noticed, I have two SSDs, a 512 and a 1 terabyte. Let's start with this one, the Orico BookDrive. I would describe this one as a bit more everyman. First off, it's a lower price point. And secondly, it allows for power pass-through. The way you connect it is USB-C to USB-C. It's not the most elegant, but it works. And unlike a dedicated SSD like a Samsung T7, it has power pass-through. Unfortunately, the external port is only power delivery, but this is important when you're using external SSDs, as powering the SSD will drain your iPhone battery rather quickly. The way I kind of think of the BookDrive is it's an external drive that happens to be also an iPhone SSD. As I'm recording this right now, the Orico BookDrive 2TB version is priced more than $50 below the Samsung T7. Yeah, my drives are getting a little dirty because I have been using these. This is real wear and tear from me carting this around in my pocket and in my bag. This video will not be a comprehensive review of the DJI Mic 3 system, but let's talk about it for a second. This is the charging case version. I highly recommend you buy this because you get 2 microphones. This charging case is so much more convenient than if you buy a 1 mic and a 1 receiver system where you have to use a weird USB dongle.
Therefore, all you have to do to charge this case is connect it to USB-C and you're good to go. And here's the USB-C port in the back. Has a nice little indicator light system, so when you open it, you can see how much power your case has. Inside the package, you get 2 microphones and the base station. The base station has a bunch of options. It's actually a touchscreen LCD screen, and then you can also use the dial system to adjust various settings. It has noise cancellation built into the microphone system, which is really handy because you can cancel out a fair amount of noise without much effort and get pretty incredible results. The click microphones are pretty easy. They're fairly small, if you can see these in my hand, and they're not nearly as convoluted as using a lavalier system. I had the Rode Go mic system, but I found that to be so cumbersome that I just rarely used it. Whereas these, I just clip and go. I'm not crazy about the big DJI logo, but usually I clip these in a way that you can't see them. They're not super prominent. And you can connect up to 4 mics to 1 base station, which is pretty excellent, honestly. So that's enough for most type of group settings.
All right, I have now switched to my DJI Mic 3 system, and this should sound pretty nice and crisp and clear despite it being a very windy day on Mount Hood, Oregon. Normally you'd pick up a lot of the white noise from the wind, but it should sound nice and crisp and clear. I think these personally sound a little better than my AirPod Pro 3s. These also function as a wireless mic system with voice isolation, and they do quite well in a pinch. And they give you a decent amount of range. Not as much as these, because these are Bluetooth, whereas these are RF, I believe. So that gives you quite a bit more range. This is the last component. I always have these on me, so they're the best microphone I have, usually when I'm on the go. As I previously mentioned, I'm not doing a full review of the DJI Mic 3 system, but this shows the size of the thing. It's fairly inconspicuous, although it does say DJI on it pretty noticeably. The Mic 3 is a fairly platform-agnostic system because it is able to record out the analog output and directly to the device and over USB-C. So you don't need a compatible system long as you just have the mic on you. I just want to do a quick aside because the view is amazing.
Unfortunately, it's been a really low snow year in the Cascades. Also, I forgot to bring windscreens for my DJI microphones.
Sorry, it's a little windy and it's wobbling the camera, and I can't do anything about that. It's on a tripod. But what I want to say is the Zike Drive and the DJI mic system is a huge game changer for me in the way I'm capturing video now. All right, I'm doing this meta thing right now so you can see what my setup looks like. That's it. It's just the camera, the drive, and the mic system. With my current setup, I just don't see myself going back to a dedicated camera system outside of the studio environment. This is just too easy for me.
Each of these SSDs kind of lends itself to a different loadout. With the Zike, I can use my DJI mic system, whereas the BookDrive limits me to using my internal mics or my AirPod Pros. Also of note, in benchmarks, the Zike Drive is faster, but it's also 1 terabyte, and usually, not always, but usually, larger SSDs tend to perform better. And the performance differential is so close that it's not that big of a deal. But what if you compared these to a dedicated SSD like a Samsung T7? Well, voice in my head, I'm glad you asked. The Zike SSD surprised me as it's basically as fast as a Samsung T7, and the Orico is a little bit slower, but you probably wouldn't notice it unless you use this as a boot drive. I do mention prices in my video, but the information is bound to go stale by the time you watch it. But on screen are the prices as of late January 2026. And I think I've cracked the markets for each of these SSDs. If you're just ProRes curious and you want to dip your toes into shooting ProRes on your iPhone, get an Orico BookDrive because it's priced really competitively, and at worst, you get a solid SSD that you can use with any computer. But if you're buying an SSD exclusively for iPhone video, it's worth paying the extra for the Zike Drive. It's tiny, it's fast, and most importantly, it has USB data pass-through. And also, you can keep using your MagSafe accessories like a battery pack while using this SSD. This design is really phone-centric because the minute you plug this into a desktop computer, it's likely to block adjacent ports. It does come with an extension cable that's USB-C female to male that you can plug in, but that's cumbersome. This also has a fan on it to keep it from overheating, but it's only doing about 1,000 megabytes a second. I don't know how necessary that is. Again, I'd like to thank both companies for sending me these products. I don't get paid for this, and I'm not taking commissions on them. Also, Zike sent me a USB 4 NVMe enclosure. I think they forgot they sent me one of these, but I'm not going to say no to it, as it's pretty fast. And last time I used it, I actually stuck an Orico SSD in it. The vast majority of the narration in this video was recorded with the DJI Mic 3 system.
The portions that weren't were either my AirPod Pro 3s or the internal microphones. I think in the future, I'd like to do a comparison between the AirPod Pro 3s and the Mic 3 system, because they're totally different, but they're both systems that allow for wireless recording with voice isolation.
And thanks to my Patreons for supporting me. Their names are on the screen, and they're probably the only people who might give a shit about this topic.